Hello everyone. In this video, we look at category sourcing, using category in order to improve the effectiveness of our sourcing strategies. We will look at the cost-saving opportunities and how to identify these cost-saving opportunities, especially through the use of categories. And then it will emerge that partnerships are a very important reference point, and then we will see how to deal with partnership, different type of partnerships. Why? Why there are there always cost-saving opportunities? The reason can be different. Often it's because we are still using a traditional approach towards purchasing with a conflicting relationship with our supplier, disregarding the opportunities of partnership and cooperation. In other cases, the purchasing department may have become too familiar with given suppliers without always make reference to competitive bidding and stay with more known and traditional suppliers, so losing cost-saving opportunities. It can also be due to the engineering department that is giving the purchasing department over specifications. So too detailed, too demanding, limiting the amount of suppliers we can select, and asking to those suppliers really high performance that are not completely required. And there are also many situations where we don't care about cost saving because we pass the cost increase to our customer. This is perfectly feasible in the short term, but in the long term, we run the risk of becoming less competitive. So, we have got several options in order to do cost saving, and using categories can be a very effective way. What is a category? It's a group of items having similar characteristics, serving a similar goal, and looking into a category which could be IT items related to IT, from server to software, could be related to facilities, from cleaning to maintenance to rents. If we are using categories, we are in fact looking at the group of suppliers, and we can have the opportunities of moving performing suppliers from one category to another category, from one item to another item within the same category. We've got an overall view of the comprehensive view of the spending in that category. And so we can identify which categories are very relevant and which are marginal, which categories do have a lot of cost-saving potential versus those who have a limited cost-saving potential. What we can do once we have identified high potential categories, we want to look into them to see whether in that category we can move from more customized purchasing to more standard purchasing. It's clear that the less customized item we required, the less it will cost to us. We can think about modular purchasing. Instead of buying several components, we just buy one module, and we reduce the complexity in that category. We can look at the number of suppliers that are involved. We can look at the type of contracts we design with those suppliers. And of course, we can look at the type of involvement we can achieve with those suppliers, knowing that suppliers' involvement will be different depending on the critical level of a category. Before entering into managing category, purchasing by categories, we should design a strategy based on a few general ideas. In every category, we should deal with the dilemma of single sourcing versus multiple sourcing, concentrating a lot our purchases from one or very few suppliers gives us more leverage with respect to those suppliers, and we can get even better prices. But it's a risk, because what happens if these suppliers goes bankruptcy or decide not to serve us any longer, or they increase their prices? Another dilemma is, should we go global or should we stay local? Global normally means more opportunity for cost saving, at the same time more a higher risk level. And shall we go for an arm's length relationship, more competitive biddings, or shall we try and embrace a more partnership approach? Once we have solved this strategic decision, we should go and design a category sourcing plan. Okay, we've got strategic issues. The starting point, it's normally analyzing historical trends. This is my starting point. This means how much we have used this category, how much has been the spending in this category, from how many suppliers with respect to which functional, technical, and quality level, which are our current suppliers, and how we rank them, how we evaluate them in terms of performance. Then we normally go and involve our internal customers and ask them and revise with them the requirements. Are those requirements still valid, or shall we do something different? On this basis, we can define a path towards cost reduction, quality improvement, or even less specification. So a sort of less quality. Lead time reduction when it's required. We do it targeting a certain number of suppliers and sharing with them specific performance objectives. We could also do a strategy that takes into account geographical location. So I may go for some suppliers that are very far away and purchase from them the basics requirements, and I can keep some suppliers very close in order to have got flexibility if my planning requirement changes. Then, as a final step, I set up the organizational and the team able to do category sourcing, and I share with them the target we are going to do. In many cases, category sourcing will move us to have less supplier and more involved relationship with them, so more partnerships. But we should take into account that partnership is not always a good reason. We should have a specific reason for developing partnership that could be related to logistics. We have got an opportunity to save on logistic costs if we are cooperating together. It could be related to quality. By sharing quality information, the supplier can act upstream and reducing our cost. quality cost, but also we can together work and improve the overall performance, both in terms of reducing cost and on increase the quality. Different kind of objectives and also a path towards a deeper and deeper partnership. So the journey with my suppliers normally starts with an arm's length relationship on the market. It's a supplier, as many others. If the two of us go well along, this supplier may become a preferred supplier, meaning he can get a higher volume, a higher percentage of my spending, and can get some special condition from me. He may have a planning horizon, an extended planning horizon of 1 year or so. So I may tell him in advance so that he can effectively plan his activities. If things are going better and better, we can have a supply partner, which is at the first stage normally mainly engaged in the planning activities, in the quality activities. So I engage in the operations. And if the suppliers perform effectively, but also if the suppliers has got a technological profile, a level of competence which is attractive to me, the supplier might become a design partner, where when I involve him since the very beginning. In this scenario, it's clear that the time horizon of the cooperation becomes long, easily up to 3 to 5 years. So, thinking in terms of category and acting, leveraging on the potential of